guys out at Custom Gear Modifications. Ta-da! That is the Diamondback saddle, which caught my eye, of all things, Facebook, because that's where you should go to buy all your stuff, right? Alright.
See what Fubar's got up his sleeve.
Spent some money on a saddle, so I wasn't borrowing everybody else's. And I went with the guys at Custom Gear Modifications. They're veteran owned out of Tennessee. Larry and I can't remember the other gentleman's name. But they took care of me, answered all the questions I had, and when they announced this, I jumped all over it, primarily just for the way it was set up. It also had a few things that I knew I wanted to go with. One being I like ultralight. I don't like carrying stuff in. My entire setup, steps, platform and everything, even with the heavy backpack, is maybe 20 pounds. That's saddle and everything. So when I saw this, I instantly took a liking to it. A couple different things. It doesn't really have a lot of metal on it. The only metal on this saddle is just the G-hooks on the leg straps that we'll talk about here in a minute. But the way that it sits that I did like is you just unclip it once you get to where you're going, and then your saddle's good to go. So I dropped a little bit of money on it, and 10 days later it showed up at my door. And overall, the quality of this saddle is very good. It's the strapping, webbing is heavy duty. They do use metal where you want metal for supports. This one's kind of nice because with the bridge and everything being rope, it all lines up the same way when you go to put it on. It's really quite simple. Just step through the hoop. You don't have to step through any legs. Slide it up. Grab your belt. Now, one thing that's really nice on this one, it's got a sleeve instead of an attached belt. So if you snug your belt up and the knot's over there, you can just slide it. It's really easy to use. What I found worked really well is when you take because the rope will loosen itself up if you pull on it hard enough, but if you wrap it twice when you put it on, it doesn't do that. Just twist it around twice. It keeps it from sliding itself out while you're moving around, and you can still hang stuff off of this while you're climbing with the belt snug and it doesn't come loose. That was the only concern I had when I initially looked at it, was whether it was going to break loose or not. So, and I could probably tighten a knot up and mess with that, but like I said, I have barely played with this thing, much less sat in it more than once. A couple of real quick identifiers with this is it does have a triad bridge, which for those of you who know, it doesn't use carabiners. You just rewrap. They use Amstel wraps on this as well. It's basically a Prusik knot, both one on the rope, one on the loop. So everything's nice and tight. A couple things that I did notice about it, they got a couple extra loops on here. I wasn't too sure if I thought they'd get in the way. You can use it for extra rigging, you can hook extra belts up if you want extra leg support, stuff like that, they said, but I haven't really played around with those yet to see what I'm going to do, other than the fact that these are awesome for clipping on your climbing steps. If you're using sticks, you can put one on each side. We use the 8er Schwaders, which if you use those between the steps, we only carry 3 steps in if we're using the climbing sticks. Although I like the steps, we use the Wii steps because they carry in a heck of a lot better. But once you get to the tree, all you got to do is just loosen that, clip your lines in, and you're done. You're finished. Very light, very easy to work with. Just unclip it like so. For the cupping motion, then you just reach down for each of your straps. I keep mine tightened, but I loosen it for. And then inside loops right here, clip in like that, give it a snug down, or if you just carry them prepped, then they're going to stay at that right length anyway. The bridge is nice. I do like a short bridge on mine, so I do run mine pretty tight. So everything's nice and tight. A couple things that I did notice about it, they got a couple extra loops on here. I wasn't too sure if I thought they'd get in the way. You can use it for extra rigging, you can hook extra belts up if you want extra leg support, stuff like that, they said, but I haven't really played around with those yet to see what I'm going to do, other than the fact that these are awesome for clipping on your climbing steps. If you're using sticks, You put one on each side. We use the 8er waders, which if you use those between the steps, we only carry 3 steps in if we're using the climbing sticks. Although I like the steps, we use the wee steps because they carry in a heck of a lot better. But once you get to the tree, all you got to do is just loosen that, clip your lines in, and you're done. You're finished. Very light, very easy to work with. Just unclip it like so. With a cupping motion, then you just reach down for each of your straps. I keep mine tightened, but I loosen it for. And then inside loops right here, clip in like that. Give it a snug down, or if you just carry them prepped, then they're going to stay at that right length anyway. The bridge is nice. I do like a short bridge on mine, so I do run mine pretty tight. Carry yourself in. As far as hooking and unhooking the G-hooks, I was a little concerned about that, because as you can see, it's not really that hard at all to find your loops once you're used to having this on and clipping everything in and out. Like I said, this seems to hold pretty well when you're just sitting around, and when you twist it like that, it still comes off pretty easy. Really like it. Of course, it's American made with Larry and the guys down there. If you look in here, I don't know if you can see, the stitching is fantastic. Definitely reinforced. Everything is reinforced. Nice rolled and stitched, seamed. Everything's seamed. They seam their mesh all the way around before it's even attached. They double insulate, so you're not, when you hook things through here, you're not making any contact on the rub, on the actual support webbing here for the bridge. So reinforced every one of the stitches on here. Everything's folded, so it stays rigid, so you can clip into it real easy. Really impressed with the quality. Really like how simple it is. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. It's a good buy for the money. I think they had a brand new model. Just opened this diamond back up, and I think it was like 169 bucks. Ended up being like 183 or 187 to my door, so it's fantastic. Those guys got it out real quick. I think it's 187. So, and they also make all the additional straps. So if you ever want to change anything on this, and these guys at CGM, they'll put, if you want the loops on the bottom, they can put them on the bottom for you. Just send them a note if you want anything extra done to your saddle. I believe they're shipping these with the AMSteel saddle now, which is cool, or belt, AMSteel belt, instead of the regular climbing rope. I'm not sure which I would like better. Like I said, I'm going to run it this way for the first part of the season before I start tinkering. I ordered a medium, which is good up to 38-inch waist. I wanted that extra 6-inch of range just in case for winter wear, stuff like that. I like my loops short to the body, so when I packed in, they're going to be, an inch or two closer anyway by the time I'm packing on with heavy gear. But also, why I like the adjustable bridge with the Triad, because you can adjust it here depending on how long or short, how much pinch you get. You can always let this out, take the tension off, slide it back, drop it down a little bit more, takes the tension off your hips. So turning does very well. Being that your belt is also climbing rated Optilux bridge. You've got a good range of motion. If you like to turn all the way around, then all you do is you just lengthen your bridge out. So if you run a longer bridge, you can literally make these bridges as long as you want by using the AMSteel and such. You shorten this up, and you can take a long bridge and you'd be able to turn pretty much completely around and still not come close to binding. And using these with the AMSteel crucifix on here, all you really have to do is take the tension off, slide your knots down on your harness. And this was something that I couldn't do with the standard looped AMSteel belt. And now the tension is more underneath your butt. So if you're going to be here all day, you can adjust your tension. As you can see, it kind of lets me relax back, and then if I want to run a back strap and relax, I can do that. I haven't done a back strap yet. I'll probably do it this year and refine it and try it out and see how I like it for long sits. Just running, right through here and laying back. It shifts everything down under your butt the way everything sits on a chair anyway. And then the thing that's nice about sitting though in the saddle is you can sit sideways. I see a lot of guys sitting this way. It works really well. especially with these, because you get more of that swing feel under your butt. So if you're sitting in on a tree and you just relax and got your hands up, I mean, I like sitting in the short saddle. I don't know why. Larry, I'm going to send you one for you. It's going to be in white. Just using this so you can see it. And then this one for the girls I keep seeing in your pictures. So you guys can fight over the pink one.